Business at Modean's 3 is down, thanks to a new Breastaurant in town. DJ Strrt's on a mission, but fails the audition, and Bonnie helps Gail turn things around.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Freaky Friday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand. Podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is tasty. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya. And online, we have Squirrely Matt, the velvety Victor. Let me try that again.
Then.
Yes. And joining us this week, he's a man of many layers, former wrestler, bodyguard, Funko artist, bear wrestler, and don't forget rodeo clown. Please join me in making some noise for the voice of God himself, delicious Dennis Vicious.
Wondrous.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wait. Oh my God.
I regret nothing.
Welcome back to the produce stand, Dennis.
Feast your eyes and fantasize. The man of your dreams was between your thighs. I'm called outrageous, often gracious, ever bodacious, completely salacious, so ostentatious, even perspicacious, but always liquacious. You hear me, ladies. Ever ambitious, slightly pernicious, never superstitious, a little repetitious. Let me be auspicious and not injudicious. I'm simply delicious. Dennis Vicious.
Oh, man. If I could beatbox, I would have totally stepped in there and beatboxed under that.
Can you write one for Al? I need him to do one later.
Oh, hey.
I don't know that many shush words to begin with.
Amazing.
Dennis.
Welcome back.
You bring it every time, dude.
Howdy.
Let's just wrap it up right there. That was gold.
Oh, man.
That's a wrap.
How are you now?
All right. Tonight's lineup is going to be Tanya, Matt, Al, Victor, and our guest, Dennis. We'll have the last word, and I've got exactly what we're talking to Dennis about tonight. But Tanya, let's start with you.
Oh,
How was your week?
I'm on first. I never do well when I'm first.
You don't
Okay.
say.
No. Oh hell. This week, you know what? I'm like 10 presents away from finishing my wrapping. So I'm very excited about that. And I think that's pretty much all I've got. Like tomorrow we have like plus 14 degrees, strange December weather rolling in, high winds tonight. Yeah, looking forward to a barbecue tomorrow.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's almost shorts weather for our American listeners. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to have that after we just had snow.
All my Christmas decorations are absolutely flying off of the tree that we decorated outside. So
yeah, because of the wind.
Yeah, that's all I got. Like, there's just not a whole heck of a lot to share this week.
Pretty boring. Okay.
Right?
How about you then, Matt? How was your week?
That was really boring.
I'm sorry.
End of story.
Why do we? Yeah, you're not going first again.
Thank you.
Well, at least not for another 4 weeks.
Do you want to switch? Do you want to switch with me right now?
I just want
come
you
on.
to figure it out.
Switch
Fast
with
forward
me.
the episode. You're going to call out MVP, and she goes, "Oh shit, that's right. We're doing that."
Start writing it down now.
Okay, Matt, we're switching.
No, we need an MVP, so keep that in mind as the episode
Oh,
goes
dude,
on.
you are no better at being first.
I know, it's hard. It's weird. The pressure's on. Anyways, my week's been okay. Yeah, good. I'm feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was a little off the last couple weeks, and honestly, and I'll talk openly for a second about it. I've been a little stressed lately, and a lot of it I've been trying to figure out why. And it turns out one weird thing, which as I'm solving right now, has had a big impact. My blood pressure has been a little higher than it probably should be.
Oh.
And that actually was oddly causing me to react to things in ways I normally wouldn't feel like myself. It was fucked up, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. And so I've been to my doctor. I'm getting this checked out, and nothing serious, but it's giving me something to help bring it down. And already I've felt better. which is great. So I'm dealing with that, sorting that shit out, and I got to change my diet apparently and a couple of things. I've been bad for a while, and I think it's all catching up. Maybe it's COVID. I don't know. Anyways, sorting it out. It's a good thing. Feeling better.
That's good.
Maybe you can share some of that with me.
Some blood pressure medication is what she needs.
Yeah.
My Fitbit says my blood pressure isn't so great either.
Fuck. And I wouldn't have even thought that would have been something that could have such an impact even on your mood, but apparently it did. So I'm glad I'm sorting that out because I didn't like it. I didn't like how I felt. And so we'll keep pushing forward on that one. On another more annoying note, the fucking elf is back. For anyone who has young kids knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm so glad we avoided doing that.
God. It's honestly, I swear to God, the elf on the shelf thing, it's one of the most brilliant marketing things I've ever seen in history because it tailors to kids. It creates a tradition and you get sucked into this wormhole of having to support it. And I have to believe the person who created it is like
an asshole.
Sitting back, laughing their ass off every year as these parents are trapped inside this world. I've run out of ideas what to do. But it's back and it's going to hang around for a few more weeks. We've been using it to our advantage. My one son was a little irresponsible this week. He lost his winter coat, like full on lost it. We had to buy him a new one. God. Really pissed off about that. Then he lost his boots.
What the hell's he doing at school?
I don't know, man. So
did he come home from school barefoot? What?
No. I don't know.
Is he gambling?
Yeah.
Is he gambling?
Playing dice in the schoolyard.
Yeah. Ultimately, he did find the boots, but we've been using the elf to teach him lessons. So
good.
I had this big giant box of Lego that I've been trying to slowly give to my kids. So we're giving it through the elf. So we had a couple of these already pre-made, and I gave this big ass wicked tank thing to my younger guy, and then to my older guy just a little shitty boat, and we wrote a little note saying, well, your brother got the better one because you lost your boots, like figure it out, bud.
Wow.
And
oh my God.
like kind of like I'm watching, don't think I didn't know. I'm telling Santa, and he got so upset and he was thankful, but he cried for a little bit, walked away. I'm like, that's right, don't lose your boots again.
Yeah, that's a good lesson there. Yeah,
tough parenting, but
gotta let them cry.
You gotta
let them cry, man.
I would have been crying with them.
I have no sympathy at all. I don't know if I'm an asshole myself, but I have no sympathy. I'm like, no, figure it out.
Yeah, this whole elf on the shelf thing, I don't know, because you say it's a brilliant marketing thing, but by who? Like what company?
Our daughter.
Like I know, Coca-Cola invented Santa, but who invented Elf on the Shelf? Who's capitalizing on Elf on the Shelf?
But have you seen? They're expensive as hell.
Home burglary systems, like what? No.
I don't know. The authentic elf is like $40, I think.
Yeah, think about it. You're buying accessories and every year. Time that somebody posts something on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, they're tagging.
Oh, I know. So, my buddy Stu, guitarist from the Royal Pains, he gets elaborate with his, like, and he wears it with a badge of honor. Like every night he posts a new picture of some new scenario he's set up for his. It's ridiculous.
How old is his? How many years has he been doing this?
For quite a few. I'm pretty sure his kids are now all outgrown it. But if you look back,
maybe not.
What?
They're still pretty young.
No, his daughter's Owen's age, and then his son, I think, is 10. So yeah. But anyway,
year one, which was like 6 years ago for me, was fun.
Oh my God.
I'm over it.
Our daughter begged me for one, and I'm like, listen, everything I know about them, they make a mess of the house. I'm like, why do I want something that's going to wreck everything and make mess every night, and we have to clean it? I'm like, no, that sounds like a terrible idea. I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my week.
Yeah. Well, let's see. My week. Last night I went out with my coworkers for a nice little Christmas get together. I was downtown Toronto for the first time, and I can't even remember, at least 2 years, I guess, which was fun. Went to a place called Tilt, which was like, it's an arcade bar. Really fun. You go in, we didn't pay cover because the boss was paying for it, but you just pay a $5 cover, and then inside it's all you can play video games, pinball machines, classic cabinets, and even some like console games and stuff. And it's a bar, so it got packed. Like by the time I left, it was pretty full. But that was fun. Before that, I had some nice beer at a place called Collective Hearts Brewery in Toronto. made some nice beers. And speaking of beer, Matt, you and I in the mail got a shipment from our buddy Adrian from his new brewery called Kit NA Brewery. Yep. And I told him that I would open it on the podcast tonight and do a taste test. So Matt, you got some too? So,
yeah, I'm already poured.
Yeah, I haven't poured yet, but this one's called Own Your Mark, American Blonde. So I'm gonna just open mine up.
So this is the beer that gets you less drunk as you drink it.
Yes, it's
got
negative alcohol.
Unleaded.
Unleaded.
Yeah, this is when you drink so much you need to drink these to balance yourself back out.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should send some of these to Chad. Anyway, I told Adrian that I'm not the biggest of beer connoisseurs, but I mean I like my beer, so I give it a taste. But I'm not going to be able to tell you like its hoppiness or whatever. I'll just drink it and let you know how happy I am after I drink it. But Matt, you go ahead. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, thank you, Adrian. This was such a nice little surprise. He did mention that this was coming, and he nice to throw in a glass, which I'm using. I'm sporting very proudly right now. I love it. It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the idea of drinking booze without alcohol is a weird, foreign concept to me. But this gets a pass for sure. This is,
if you didn't know it had no alcohol,
I wouldn't know. Wouldn't know.
No, it tastes like beer.
Well, that's what he said. He said it is like the closest.
That's the biggest compliment I could give it, is that it tastes like beer. It tastes like and it doesn't taste like cheap beer. It tastes like good beer. Like it's very flavorful.
Yeah, I think he's got it as American Blonde. I don't know if the taste profiles are different down there in terms of what blondes are. I personally,
they're just 30% higher than here. That's all. That's different.
There you go. There you go. But it's like you can taste the hops. It's got a good citrus flavor in there. Mm-hmm. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
I've been drinking it. I'm into my second can already.
Oh wow!
Quite enjoying it. Like I said, I had no alcohol today. It's not like me for the show, but I figured if I'm going to come out supporting Kid NA, I might as well, really live the dream.
So there you go, Kid NA. Good job on this. I might
smoke a joint though, so I can't promise that.
all good. Good job on this, and
well, you'll keep yourself well hydrated while you do it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But no, Adrian, well done. I know you've been working really hard, and your people and you guys over at Kid NA. Be proud of yourself. This is actually quite good.
Yeah, absolutely. Victor?
I don't know what the hell else on the shelf is. I don't know what I didn't know what the hell you guys were talking about.
Oh, you're lucky then. You complete. I mean, Tanya and I have managed to avoid it, but you just missed it, which is good. It's a ridiculous thing that like as soon as Christmas starts, like I guess when December hits, there's this elf that parents put it in different places in the house, and I think isn't the elf supposed to be like Santa's like spy or whatever?
You can't touch there's a lot of rules about the elf. You can't.
Okay, when does this start? When does it start?
December 1st.
No, I mean maybe
every year.
Did I just answer your question like you would answer your question?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my god! And you smacked your head. I just want to point that out.
You did. You totally did. I mean, it started probably 10, 15 years ago. I mean, as long as Owen's been
was it that long?
I don't think it was around when Owen
2005. 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, my son would have been 2 years old. Natalie would have been 5.
Well, but I think like anything, it probably took a number of years to get momentum behind it, right? It didn't. They were probably selling it at like
I don't know,
like little craft shows and thing. The first few years.
Can't you do that with anything though? Like I can take a look, like my little miniature.
It comes with a book. Like you buy you get the elf, you bring it home. I don't know whether the elf is a present. 1 year? I don't know. How does it get adopted?
But Victor, totally. You could have done it with the hippo. I don't know what it would have been called though. Hippo on the Zippo? I don't know, like if you had
I have lots of hippos on a shelf. And I've got hippos everywhere now.
And then they make mischief. Every night they make mischief.
You're supposed to move them around each night.
No, they move around.
Right.
They move around.
My bad.
And truthfully, we're pretty cheap. Like I said, these things are expensive. I'm really fucking cheap. We have I think we got ours at the dollar store. It's an elf looking thing with green hair.
It's not even.
And that's It's not even authentic. This is the knockoff.
But what does it matter?
No
to
garage
a kid,
sale elf?
whether it's a knockoff or a real elf?
It's a Swedish knockoff. It's called Ulf on the shelf.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Ulf.
Okay, so what does a kid care if it's an expensive or not an expensive? They wouldn't know.
They don't care. No.
So I think
Kids are dumb. They have no
actual elf comes with a book and tells its story, and then the kids can't touch them.
Okay, this just sounds like that caterpillar book that comes with a caterpillar.
Yep.
And then the elf does
basically
things like around the house. So the elf will get into the flower in the kitchen or start playing with the Barbies and having a pool party. And there's all of these very, very elaborate things that people come up with.
I get it, but you could do that with a rock.
I sense a marketing opportunity for Letterkenny. They should have a Shorzy elf where the face is hidden and it goes around fucking the Barbie's mothers.
Oh my!
That is not for children. Not PG people.
Man. Anyway,
you better put a disclaimer.
Really? That's too much. Come on.
You better put a disclaimer at the beginning.
There's already an E on our podcast.
For everyone.
Yes. For explicit.
Do you have something to show us on this Audible podcast?
I actually don't. I went and looked. So part of the fun of Elf on the Shelf is you got to find it each day. And I went inside and said, "Where's the elf?" And Jen started laughing and said, "Well, you got to fucking find it." And I couldn't find it. I'm like, seriously, where's the elf? She's like, and just went back to her show. I'm
Victor could just Google it.
I love that. Okay, well, anyway, that's okay. Our listeners have not missed anything.
No.
Anyway,
Victor, if one of your hippos is in the kitchen cupboard tomorrow, you'll know that we got a hold of your wife.
I will know something's up. That's right. That's right.
Go text Linda. Say move his hippos around.
Move his hippos around.
So I used my segment to talk about the elf, but I'll tell you that something that I discovered like a gem 2 days ago is this movie called Silver Streak. Horrible movie, but my goodness, how great was it? And
I don't know, how great was it?
So it was really good. It was
horrible movies aren't usually great.
It's with Gene Wilder and his buddy Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is an older movie. Because it sounded familiar. Silver Streak. I wonder if I've seen it.
So it's like, Airport, not to be confused with Airplane, which was the parody of Airport.
Yeah.
Like where it's like overacting and it's very dramatic but it's like they really kind of make a whole romance thing about it. Like it's about the airplane and it's, they show you close-ups of how the airplane works. So it's the same thing, but it's on a train. Silver Streak is a train going from LA to Chicago. It was brilliant. The storyline was so goofy, but it was just so wonderful. I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I recommend it to all the train lovers out there.
Okay, then.
Oh boy!
All right, Dennis. I don't know if you came with something in mind to talk about, but last time you were on, you were kind of a fill-in, so I didn't have a chance to prepare. But I made a note from two times ago that you were on that we were going to talk about the time you were a mortician's assistant. So, is that something you can elaborate on?
Yeah, I mean, like anything, it's a pretty long story.
Oh, is it?
How I got there, but
so Tanya and I are watching 6 Feet Under right now. We just started, so it's kind of top of mind. So this is perfect. So what exactly did you have to do? What were your duties?
A lot of what I had to do was, picking up bodies.
Okay,
that was most of what I had to do. Was I would go to where there were murders, suicides, people dying of old age, things of that nature, and I would, pick them up, throw them in the coroner's vehicle, and it depended on where they were in the process. Sometimes there are other agencies that have to do investigations or things of that nature, and after the raw autopsies, I would transport them to the facility where we would prepare and do the mortuary services. But it's a pretty dark story, actually, because when I was growing up, my dad would dig graves for my grandfather, who owned a lot of land, and he owned a lot of like family plots and things of that nature. So since I was 6 or 7 years old, I was digging graves with my dad.
Really?
I was pretty close to death throughout my life.
Holy.
And, like I said, my family members tend to live to be pretty old. So I was at funerals every weekend, as a kid. So I was very close to it.
So you lived the 6 feet under life. Like,
oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I watched that show, and it's pretty accurate. There's another it was a reality show called Family Plots that was very close to, I mean, it was literally just documentary style, what it's like to work at a funeral home and things of that nature. But, when I was in 8th grade, one of my best friends committed suicide.
Oh.
And I saw it affect everybody in our class. And, I was like, I never want to feel like this again. So I'm going to get as close as I can to death. So I never have to feel that way again. So that's kind of what started my journey there. And because of the connection with my dad and the funerary services, there was a place in, my hometown called where I would help out around, and they already knew me from, the connection to my dad. So, I was just kind of the mascot around there for a little while, but I would, I'd pick them up. I would help prepare, do makeup.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I would hand out some of the, brochures at some of those services and things of that nature. And, being that age, it caught people off guard that I was so close to it. But I think it helped a lot of people too, to see somebody my age be so mature about the process. And I think it helped a lot of families kind of cope.
I bet it kind of helped with your kind of attitude of live life to the fullest too, because you said because you lived or you were around retirement, a lot of retirement homes and stuff. But I imagine this really helped that perspective as well.
Yeah, and like I said, I grew up in nursing homes because of aged family members, and I've always been around old people, and they always call me old. People used to call me the professor because I was so professional even as a child, and. Yeah, it was interesting experience, but that was years of my formative years.
Wow, that's pretty fascinating. I'm afraid maybe I've brought the mood down a bit.
I'll bring the mood back up for you.
Okay.
So you must have. Do you have any weird stories of like the death groan or something like that?
Death rattle.
And some of the people that I worked with would forewarn me about some of those things though too, so I was led to expect them. But one of the
led to expect what? What did I miss?
The death rattle.
Yeah, it's sometimes when during the process of rigor mortis and the bodies will expel gases and things of that nature, even post mortem.
Okay.
After they've died, you'll hear like bubbling or it's the bladders of the body kind of relaxing. Sometimes you'll hear sounds, and I've never heard like, oh, out of the corner of a room or anything like that. But, they warned me, when you're brushing the hair, sometimes they'll twitch and, stuff like that. And there's all kinds of rules you never think about until you're that close.
Yeah, I'd be out of there so fast.
I know my dad. One of my favorite stories from my dad. My dad is comes from farmers, and I know he was with somebody, and they were taking the family member, the deceased that was in the back of the station wagon, to the morgue. And apparently something happened, and the dead body just sat up, like something happened where like there was like a.
He woke up. Maybe he wasn't really dead.
No, I don't think so.
Did they know how to check back then?
It was like something happened where the body like freaking moved and scared the bejeebies out of all of them.
Yeah, zombie.
I'm like,
anyway, that's fascinating. How have you been since the last time we saw you?
Oh boy. I mean, it's, you ask about this week, but man, this week can just eat a bag of dicks.
Oh no. I hope this is
for me.
Is this the highlight then of your week?
Oh, well, this is the busiest time of my year with the pops and stuff like that, because it's all last minute Christmas gifts and can you do 2 weeks of work in 2 days? And it's piling up. So I'm like, white knuckling and trying to get all this stuff finished. So, because I don't want to ruin somebody's Christmas, so I've been mired in that. And
and the U.S. Postal Service hasn't been exactly the most efficient these days, right?
Yeah, and it's tough because I have, clients that are in Australia there where, first class mail is just not even enough. So it's either charge $70 or wait until they lift some of these restrictions.
Wow.
So, but in the time since we spoke before, I met a couple of dudes from this Canadian TV show called Letterkenny.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about that. That happened between. That's right. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing those pictures.
What's funny is like when I met Dylan Playfair, well, we were taking a picture together and he put his arm around me and he goes, "Man, you got some meat on you, bro." I don't want to make the ladies jealous, but I put my arm around him too. And I was like, "Damn, you're pretty solid too there," because he actually lived in Kalamazoo, Michigan for 6 years. His dad was the head coach of a hockey team down there.
Yeah, that's right.
So he was familiar with the area. And, Tyler, I don't know if he missed his calling or has a pretty bright future in politics, but just the personality on that dude. And he reminded me so much of Tom. Wasn't funny. Just
of Tom. Sorry, you cut out there. He reminded you of who?
Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay.
Not just the resemblance, but, they have very similar personalities just in the way that they engage with people, and he was incredibly personable. And
hopefully he's not crazy though, like Tom Cruise with the Scientology and shit. But
seemed to be all right.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you whisper into Playfair's ear and said, "Go on the produce stand"?
I mentioned it. I mean, I showed them both the shirt.
You're a good
and
man.
I asked Tyler about his if he'd received it yet. And
no, he's ghosting me. I've been trying to get it to him, but he hasn't gotten back to me. No, I want to send it to him, but he won't respond. So until he does.
And I thought we got along really well too.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought we had fun with him, but anyway, he's moved on. He's on the Comic-Con circuit now.
Yeah.
So they were there for
this is their first time. Like Dylan and James Daly was there too.
Oh yeah.
Ronzi, but this was both their first comic convention of anything of that type, because Tyler's done it because of the Supernatural connection,
right?
But the two of them, I mean, they were old pros. They were great up on stage. They did a panel and they talked about the show and had stories relating to some of the filming and things of that nature. But yeah, they were all great.
Cool. So they were there for Letterkenny, not for other shows.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's usually you're recognized for whatever the most popular thing is at the moment.
Right.
And, any actor has several different projects under their belt. And, at the time, James was kind of pushing his album because it was about a week out from the release of his CD. And, he was talking about that, which was cool.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And again, thanks a lot for sharing those pictures out. That was fun to see them.
Gotta rep the brand, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did you didn't get a picture with Daly though, right? I didn't see.
No, I didn't actually get to meet James.
Oh, no?
Because he actually owns some of my figures because his mom has bought them from
Oh yeah.
But
Awesome.
I didn't get to make contact with him because every time that I went back to his booth, he wasn't there. And he was a late addition. I felt sorry for him because a lot of people didn't know that he was going to be there until the last minute.
Oh. All right. Well, that's great. I mean, it's Friday night, and I know it's a little late, but would you like a coffee, Tanya?
Yes.
Victor, would you like a coffee?
Have a coffee.
Matt, would you like a coffee?
I am surprised we're not having coffee right now.
Terrible.
Nailed it.
Great, because as you know, Diabolical coffee is now being served at the produce stand. It is devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There's a roast for all tastes and even some you didn't know you wanted. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind and espresso, or if you're like Tanya and me, there's a K-Cup option for single cup brewers. I was going to have you record this because you sounded great last time. Maybe we'll have to. I mean, we'll have to pre-record it.
Yeah. Aside from the 7 little hiccups.
Yeah, exactly. And for
the voice was there.
Yeah, the voice is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
For the duration of season 9 of our podcast, you can use the promo code PRODUCESTAND for 10% off anything in the store. That is 10% off all coffee and merch. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee and Eric, for your support this season. And speaking of support, we have 18 new Twitter followers. So welcome to James Van Riswick, Nathaniel Hanos from Hemlock Lake, New York, Al Jagiello from Chicago, Kristen Lynn, Steve Rose from Barrie, Ontario, Don't Talk, Just Listen podcast, Los Angeles Podcast Network from LA, Angie B from Chicago, Mark Grainer, Craig Denham, Mike D from California, Dave is correct from Boston, BW Ecology, Chartered Ecologists and Environmentalists from Ireland, Laurie Douglas, audio knots from your ears. Joe, Sasha from Indiana, and Jim Hill from Weston, Wisconsin. Thank you for following and hopefully for listening. Where is it?
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week, we recapped and reviewed episode 5 of season 9, Sleepover with our friend Chad. That episode got a fresh rating from Chad and myself, a clearance from Tanya, and a compost from Sleeping Beauty over here, Victor. According to our scientific Twitter poll, 73.9% of you gave this episode a fresh, 13% gave it a clearance, and another 13% gave it a compost. So that's interesting. This week, we recap and review episode 6 of season 9, Breastaurant. Tanya, have you done your homework?
Yes.
Matt, have you done your homework?
You know I have.
I've done my homework. Victor, have you done your homework?
Yeah, IT.
And Dennis, have you done your
Once.
homework?
You betcha.
All right.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
The cold open, we begin with the Hicks at Modean's 3 having some puppers. Wayne and Squirrely Dan are giving Derry a hard time for spending too much time on Instagram. Derry corrects them. He's on Twitter. Wayne tells Derry, well, less doing tweets, more pulling teats. This gets Derry on the topic of gay hooters. He asks if the others have ever heard of gay hooters. They haven't. But Squirrely Dan supposes it's like regular hooters, only for gay guys. So Derry says, so it's like a Hooters, but marketed to gay men aged 18 to 35. Derry still has a few questions, like, what do gay men like about Hooters? He finds it a little bit queer that they would have to sell the gay community on Hooters. So cue Ron and Dax, who are sitting at the next table.
Sell? Sold? Huh? Gay dudes love tits. Is that right? Most of us, yeah.
Well, to be fair.
To be fair.
It's hard to imagine anyone not liking them, no matter which ways you point your sexual compass.
So you guys love tits as much as you love dinks? Fuck no. We're straight guy gay. Strictly guy gay for clarification. Getting good and gay and guy gash. Smashing silly ass. Getting kinky with the dinky. Getting stinky with the dinky. In sync with dink. Is that right? But you also love tits. What's not to love? Yeah, lots of gay dudes secretly love tits. Big, bouncy, fun-loving, party time tits. Big old buoyant, jubbly, sloppy egg yolk knobs. Bounce those snake-eyed Humpty dumplings over here, honey. Let's have a good one. Talking Bobsy twin baby thumpers, rubber baby buggy bumpers. Is that right?
This gives Derry an idea. What if the food at a gay Hooters was also gay?
Okay, so the chickens that you get the chicken wings from, what if they were also gay chickens? Boy, chicken's called cock.
So what your suggestions is that gay Hooters is a place for men to go eat gay cocks.
In?
Free-range chickens is hard enough to breed.
Yeah, so it would be a Hooters restaurant marketed to gay men aged 18 to 35 where they could go and enjoy some fried food, but also some eye-level eye candy. I'd rather have a dog's eye view. Dog's eye view of dink. Dink's eye view. Dink in the eye. In sync with dink.
Was that right?
And cue the theme. All right. That was the cold open. Tanya, you're first. What did you think?
You didn't get it in the clip. There was so many awesome things that Wayne was saying to all of Squirrely Dan, or not Squirrely Dan, not Matt. Geez Louise.
Ron and Dax?
Dear Lord.
Ron and Dax?
Who's on first? What's on second?
Congrats, Matt.
All the oh dear Lord. All of the it was all of Wayne's expressions and all of his comments.
Is that right?
And all of Dax and Ron's comments and expressions from what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
You didn't get those in the clip.
Well, I mean, most of them are facial react. I mean, I think most of the time he's just saying, is that right? Is that like he was just progressively more curious? So there wasn't a whole lot.
Wayne kept on saying, oh, here we go now.
Like, that part. Yes. Yeah. Throughout the whole episode, Derry just keeps on saying
and Wayne and
stupid shit.
Not Wayne.
Yeah.
Ron and Dax were like, oh, what direction is this going in?
Yeah.
Like it was all those like little side things that I really liked.
Oh, okay. I missed out on that. Matt, what did you think?
It was all right.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh. I mean, there was a couple of good moments. I funny enough, I can actually relate what Tanya was talking about. I was drawn to Wayne in, but not in the way you like in what she's saying, but I think it's from a technical perspective, something tripped me up and then I kind of focused on it when they cut to him. I think it was when he talked about, gay food as well. And then he goes, here we go now. But that cut felt very, and his delivery almost felt forced and awkward in that scene. Normally they're so good with their delivery, their timing. That just felt weird to me, and it tripped me out. And then I kind of lost a bit of focus. But all in, I mean, it was fine. The subject was what it was. There was a couple good little bits of banter there, but I didn't really laugh. Again, if we're putting it up against some of you've already mentioned last up, this is the season of cold opens, and I would put this probably at the low end of the list for the season so far. It really didn't do much for me. Again, it was fine, but like I said, I got hung up on that one line. And then lost me.
That's fair. I pretty much agree with what you guys are saying. Yeah, in terms of the cold opens this season, they've been amazing. Even last week's, even despite Victor not enjoying it, but this one here was it was just okay. It wasn't bad. It was just okay. I love the way they called it Hooters, gay Hooters, and apparently there was a gay Hooters Twitter account, but it's been suspended. I looked it up and couldn't find it. It's nowhere to be seen. But there's a parody.
Is Hooters both U.S. and Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, are they? I didn't know.
They came up here from the U.S. Like we didn't have any for long.
They had them first?
Yeah, they have them first.
Okay.
Of course they had them.
A, it's a restaurant that only serves fried food, and B, Hooters. It's it's just, I don't know.
Say true, their wings are pretty bomb.
Yeah. But their breasts, that you don't like the breasts?
Chicken breast sandwich?
I thought that was assumed.
Victor, what did you think of this?
Yeah, I think Matt kind of nailed it. It was just there. In terms of the content, like the content, I don't know. I was just confused by it. What's happening here? Like, and I've been friends, and I have friends that are gay, and I never heard them talking about how they enjoy Hooters. So I don't know what that's all about. Maybe that's.
So I think there is actually truth to that.
I'm sure. Well, let there be truth to it. It's just not like it's not something that I guess.
If Letterkenny is, if anything, it's educational, right? So they're trying to educate us.
There's that. No, I get again. Just I don't know what that means that they like Hooters. Like, what does that actually mean? Are they like sexually attracted to them? Like, what does that mean?
No, they're fun bags.
Yeah, they're fun bags. They're just fun to look at. Yeah.
See, I don't see that. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
Why not? Why can't something just be fun to look at? And
they're just soft.
Well, they are fun to look at, but in a different
and playful. But they don't have to be sexual. They could just be.
Saying there's nothing fun in your life.
Squishy ball that you play with.
Attracted to, but you like to look at.
You know that squishy ball that you play with? I'm sure you have it like right in front of you.
Like this hippo?
No, not the hippo.
Okay, but you know what?
Hold on. Let's stick with the hippo.
Let's stick with the hippo. He's got the hippo.
No, hold
on. He likes playing with the hippo. He likes handling the hippo. But is he sexually attracted to the hippo?
There you go.
I hope not.
You like playing with it, touching it, squeezing it?
I don't know because I don't know. They're not. Like,
you like the sensation of it.
Sure,
it's like a fidget toy.
It was a little bit distracting because I was just I was a little bit distracting as I typically am with Hooters, but for different reasons. Okay. I just was trying to kind of make sense of it, and then we go from that to gay cocks. What the hell is that?
That was fun. I thought that was fun. I thought that was a fun turnaround. Ron and Dax. Ron and Dax were great in this scene. I mean, if you wanted to give just an MVP to the cold open, it's Ron and Dax.
No, they were certainly good. Yeah.
Does gay exist in the animal kingdom?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's scientifically proven.
It's a thing.
All right, fair enough.
So I wonder if gay chickens still enjoy breasts. Anyway, Dennis, what did you think of this cold open?
It reminded me a lot of conversations I've had, oddly enough.
Wait, which part?
It's funny with the straight dudes I know, we never really talk about that stuff in that regard. But some of the lengthiest conversations I've ever had about breasts were with gay dudes because they're just fascinated by it because there's no sexual component to it. It's all tactile.
Right.
It's, they just like the symmetry and they get away with murder too. I mean, it's like, I don't know, like I've been around these poor girls that are just getting groped by these dudes, and it's because like, oh my god, like, isn't this funny? It's like they get away with groping them because they know there's not a sexual component, and they play into it.
And they're just rubbing it into the straight guys. Look what I can do that you can't. That restraining order.
Are the women fine with it?
Oh yeah,
I've never been groped by a gay guy, I must say. So are the women fine with it? Like, it's just all fun?
So hold on, let me put it this way.
I mean, and there's a component of it where it's, like the girl knows that they're torturing you too by letting a dude grope them in front of you too.
What were you going to say, Matt?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, this is absolutely like I've seen this before too, and I mean they reenact that they interpret this in movies and stuff all the time, where like a gay guy's best friend, it might be a girl, right? And they are very close, and I think in a lot of cases, it's like the girl will often treat him just like she would any other girlfriend. So. Whatever they do, and it's the same idea, and because that whole, like you're right, that whole sexual tension is out the window. It's not even on the table. Yeah. It's not even a thought.
With the big difference is that girlfriends typically don't handle each other's boobs.
Not necessarily.
Whereas
there's truth to that.
I'm saying typically, right?
Yeah, I am a girl. I can confirm.
Let's not generalize there, Victor.
Yeah. No, well, clearly.
Maybe you don't know what happens behind closed doors. Why do they always go to the bathrooms together? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
To fondle each other's breasts? I mean,
who knows?
Tanya
Tanya went bra shopping last week, and she was fondled.
I was touched for sure, but it's just like it's not a sexual at all. Mm-hmm. It's just like make sure that they're lined up proper.
It's clinical. It's clinical, Derry. It's clinical.
Yeah, you remove that element completely out of the conversation, out of the equation, and it's a very different relationship.
Yeah, no. Coming out of the theme, the Hicks are in their farmhouse kitchen. Derry informs everyone else that Sir Bill's, as a local mom and pop restaurant, has closed, even though they serve the best breakfast ever. Since Gail started her serving brunch, nobody went to Sir Bill's anymore. Katie always thought that Modean's 3 and Sir Bill's should have combined, have breakfast spot by day and bang up spot by night. Sadly, it's too late for that now. Derry says that there isn't much room for competition in a small town. You need customer loyalty. Well, Wayne scoffs at the notion of loyalty. He says, while loyalty is crucial, it's also a dying art. Derry continues to say that Gail is going to need their loyalty because he's heard that one of those big city chain restaurants are moving in. Wayne gets excited. Could it be a Harvey's? No. Squirrely Dan guesses that it's a Taco Bell's. Also a no. Katie guesses a St. Hubert or St. Hubert to those from Ontario, and also no.
It's one of those places that's always on about their casual fine dining. Ew. It's one of those places that focuses on upscale comfort food. Ew. One of those places that's always on about their gastro fare. Ew.
Although there are perks to those sorts of places.
Some might say the perkiest.
It's where you go if you like some perkies.
User degens.
Restaurants.
Yeah. One of those places where you're not paying for the G&T, you're paying for the TNA.
Short skirts, full bras, can't lose.
That's their mottos.
Grow up.
With all due respect, Miss Katie's, Professor Tricia says it's perfectly ethical for women to be as sexuals as they want, including wearing clothes what makes them feel powerful.
No, it's not the women who work there that I have a problem with. They can get theirs, and I'm here for it. It's the leering men that really chap my ass. The male gaze.
Male gaze? You mean like Dax and Ron?
Fuck, you were on fucking fire, eh?
That's an example of Wayne making fun of Derry throughout the whole episode. Yeah. He does that. Katie gets up to leave. Wayne asks where she's going. She's going to be a loyal customer to Gail. The Hicks agree to also go and be loyal customers for Gail. Before I go on to the next scene, can we just talk about for a second how Wayne thinks that a fancy big city restaurant is a Harvey's and Squirrely Dan thinks that a Taco Bell is a fancy big city restaurant. I mean, that's how small a town. That's how podunk.
They have nothing.
Yeah, exactly. They've got nothing. So,
but those kind of things, they crush small towns.
You know what? Growing up in the town I grew up in, the biggest news was when the first McDonald's opened, and we were so excited when we heard when the McDonald's was coming to Bradford, and what happens was it killed the other greasy spoon that we loved. We used to go to all the time. Yeah. Even though it was better food probably, or tastier food anyway. McDonald's killed them because they were cheaper, faster, and they were McDonald's.
Yeah, I've got family that used to own a grocery store in a very small town in Nova Scotia, and when the Walmart opened up, and it wasn't even that, it was still like 20 minutes from like outside in the next town, a couple towns over.
Yeah,
it was a big deal, and to the point that like we would tiptoe around family members. Like we would never say we went to that Walmart in front of the family who owned this. Not because we would still shop there because the grocery store was close to our cottage, but you know, they don't have everything.
Yeah.
But we would never make word of it because they would get so insulted and just mortified that we would possibly take our business elsewhere because of how crippling it is. And they definitely saw a big dip. They had to do a lot of change when that happened because people were driving those 20 minutes to get to the Walmart. And so big city business. Cripples.
Yeah, now Bradford has 3 McDonald's, but when I grew up, when they got there first, it was a huge deal.
I remember just having this debate with my mom because we have a tiny little convenience store, little grocery store, and you'll pay $1 to $5 more for any kind of item that you could get at the town next to us. And she loses her mind that we'll go over there and get some milk or something. And I'm like, you know what? I am always going to support them. I'm always going to, once a week, just grab something that I need. And I have no problem with it. The gas price, the way it is now too, who wants to go into the next town over? It's like, you know what? Just get it and support your hometown for sure.
All right. Scene 2. We cut to the Skids' lair. Roald is spinning some tunes while Connor and Darian are dancing. Strrt comes in. Roald's excited to play him a new Neapolitan funk combination. Strrt dismisses Roald from the DJ table with a flick of the force. He berates Roald, telling him the Neapolitan funk was yesteryear's genre. Sturt's currently fully immersed in Nigerian neurofunk movement. The two Skids continue to argue over baggy trance, mid-century word jazz, and Hungarian underground top 40. Stuart's incredulous. The rest of us is confused. Roald says Strrt can't be mad at him for not being up on his musical preference. He hasn't DJ'd in what feels like years. Strrt fights back the urge to force choke Roald again. He's fully aware of his dry spell. His plan is to become the next house DJ at Letterkenny's new Breastaurant. Roald says he loves tits. Then Roald just can't imagine all the groundbreaking styles that he can bring to the masses beyond the standard bland restaurant fare. Roald couldn't agree more. He says half of them still think it's 2005 and play mashups. Strrt says mashups are a cardinal sin in the DJ realm.
I have no time for MP3s titled Fleetwood Macklemore.
Or Rolling Stone Roses.
Meredith Brooks and Dunn.
Barry White Zombie.
James Taylor Swift.
Casey and the Sunshine Band of Horses.
Olivia Newton-John Mayer.
Rage Against the Miami Sound Machine.
Rage Against Florence and the Machine. Fugazi Osborne.
Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Phantom Planet.
I, Mother Earth, Wind, and Fire.
30 Seconds to Bruno Mars.
Clap your hands, say yeah, yeah, yes.
Busta Leanne Ryan.
Faith Hill and no more.
George Michael Bublé.
7 Mary, 311.
The Pointer Sisters of Mercy.
Slick Rick Ross.
Simply Red Hot Chili Peppers.
To the restaurant.
I loved it.
Next scene, Riley and Jonesy are at the gym, but they're not working out. They're eating Sandos. Jonesy asks Riley if he's heard about the Breastaurant opening. Riley's excited because there are going to be some top-line snipes working there. Jonesy agrees. Riley's secretly even more excited about the big city Sandos.
Top cheddar, top Swiss. You know what they call arugula in England, buddy?
Rocket!
Not you, but you are a rocket.
NASA certified. What about that big city bread?
Oh, gotta celebrate the biscuit, buddy.
You gotta worship the focaccia.
A shrine to all 12 seeds and grains.
Sauce me a pass, bro.
Pass me a sauce, buddy.
A little sriracha aioli.
A little truffle reduction.
A little pesto mayo.
A little curry ketchup.
A little spicy brown habanero dill mustard. Fuck!
A little peri peri wasabi horseradish. Fuck!
And after climaxing on the idea of the big city Sandos, Riley and Jonesy look at their pathetic excuses for sandwiches and proceed to just throw them away. Not into the trash, just literally all over the gym. Scene 4, back at Modean's 3, the Hicks are sitting at the bar. Gail isn't loving how quiet it is in the bar. Derry tells her it's likely the fact there's a new Breastaurant that's opened in Letterkenny. Gail says that Breastaurant is about as welcome as an outhouse breeze. Katie assures her she has loyal customers for life in the four of them. Gail says it's great, but the city it's poached her best server. This gets a very disappointed, "Oh, Bonnie McMurray," from the Hicks as Bonnie walks out of the kitchen. Bonnie assures them that she's still working at Modean's 3. She's got a double shift in 2 places. Gail calls Bonnie a Judas. Bonnie defends herself, saying we've all got to make our paper, and she's not surprised they poached her. She has more savoir faire than any of them, than anyone in town. Hicks mocked Bonnie on the use of savoir faire. Then Squilly Dan asks Bonnie if she really wants to work at a place that's going to exploit her like that.
Can't exploit me if I volunteer, bud. Tips.
You really want guys leering at you all night long while you're trying to do work?
How is that any different than being around you two? Or how Gail exploits Wayne around here?
What Wayne and I have is a sacred bond between bartender and customer. And sometimes my weighted body pillow. Yawn.
Squilly Dan says he's heard of those places take part in bad business practices. Rosie says someone just tried to recruit her. Wayne asks for what reason, and Rosie offers him a pair of reasons. This gets a fare from Wayne. Bonnie leaves for her shift, and then Derry proclaims that he doesn't leer.
Buddy, you're a king leer.
Your leer is folk. Your leer and present danger.
Nothing to leers but leers itself.
Leers for fears.
I don't leer.
Leer down, big rig.
Next scene, Stuart and Roald walk into the Breastaurant to deliver the good news that Stuart will be their DJ. They're met by Mia Sophia, who's the manager, and Tassie and Cassie, the 2 former Bro Dude girls. They're played by twin sisters Julia and Lauren Birch. Stuart tells Mia Sophia how lucky she would be to have him as a DJ in her new restaurant. Mia Sophia is underwhelmed, but asks for a resume anyway, and Stuart just scoffs at the idea of having to provide credentials. He's incredulous at the idea of having to prove himself as the best DJ in Letterkenny. Mia Sophia informs him that Letterkenny is a minor league. He's up against city talent. She asks Stuart if he at least has a SoundCloud. Stuart informs her he only posts his mixes on the dark web. And so Mia Sophia tells them to beat it. Next scene, back at the gym, Riley and Jonesy's excitement over the Sandos at the new Breastaurant turns into excitement over the toilets at the new Breastaurant.
Oh, first class shitters, bro.
Floor to ceiling doors on the stalls.
Sports page above the pissers.
Exotic foot flush buttons.
You know what I love doing at those pissers?
I bet I know.
I love a game where you try and melt all the ice in the urinal with your pee. Herda.
Then their excitement finally turns to the Snipes with a little help from Ron and Dax.
You ever wheeled in a chain restaurant, buddy?
Buddy, I've never not wheeled in a restaurant.
I wheeled the hostess before my seating pager went off.
I wheeled the double shifting server post zoo sticks with extra dip.
I wheeled the manager while she was rolling her loonies for her cash out.
I diddled in a golden griddle.
I wheeled the Kelsey at a Kelsey's.
I wheeled the Casey at a Casey's.
I fucked Bubba Gump at Bubba Gump's. Flagship store.
Bought on my first top at IHOP.
Gobbled cock at Manchu-Wok.
Straight up the Poulius at Orange Julius.
You know I fuck guys at Popeyes.
Ripped a double choco at El Pollo Loco.
Raging bone at Cold Stone.
Took it in the back at Shake Shack.
Ever sucked willies at Chili's?
Buddy, I've had 5 guys with a side of fries. And see these thighs? Don't tell no lies. Have you guys ever heard of gay Hooters?
Next scene, back at Modean's 3, Gail is getting a wee bit nervous at the lack of loyal clientele coming in. Katie can't even understand the appeal of opening a major chain restaurant in Letterkenny. The Hicks are starting to suggest things to Gail that could help her compete, like rockin' deep fried mushroom Mondays to compete with their matzo stick Monday. This upsets Gail. She does what she does, and her customers are either loyal or they're not. The Hicks change their tact and decide to compliment Gail on what she does do right, like not asking customers, "What are your big plans for the night?" while waiting for them to pay the bill. Squirrely Dan likes it when they ask that because sometimes he's excited to share. Derry starts giggling. Gail never says, "How are the first few bites tasting?" Squirrely Dan rumbles under his breath, "Maybe it's not tasting so good." But this sets the rest of the Hicks off on a jag about the word taste.
You know what? There's something real pervy about that word taste.
McMurray pervy, as I recall.
Who could forget?
It's just a word.
You think? You don't think it sounds a little bit pervy at all to say, "And how are the first few bites tasting?"
Hey. Everything tasting to your liking?
I see you've had a taste. How was it?
Couple bites there. How's it taste?
Taste good.
Oh, yeah, you like how it tastes?
Check, please. Sure thing. What are your big plans for the night?
Next scene, back at the Breastaurant, the skids return. This time, Rold is carrying crates of vinyl. Strrt wants to show off his glorious display of 12 inches. What's her name? Mia Sophia thinks 12 inches may be a little bit of an exaggeration. Rold assures her it isn't. Strrt redirects the conversation back to his crates of vinyl.
They are all rare, white label bootlegs. We have the two-step garage remix of Melissa Etheridge.
Bobby McFerrin live at Budokan.
Skrillex early acoustic demo.
There's a recording of Daft Punk literally playing at James Murphy's house.
Chicago covering Boston.
Boston covering Toronto.
Toronto covering Chicago.
Stop. Fuck, you guys sound like a game of meth head Cards Against Humanity.
Impressed?
Mia Sophia wasn't even listening. She noticed that they have a case of vinyls. Strrt berates her for not knowing the plural for vinyl is vinyl. She doesn't give a fuck about the English lesson. They don't have turntables. Strrt is once again incredulous. He asks what her DJs use. Mia Sophia says that one brings a circle contraption and another just plays YouTube clips off her phone. This is blasphemy for the skids.
I also checked out your online presence. You have none.
Mm-hmm. But did you check the dark web?
Listen, there are two types of DJs you hire in this business. Those who suck but bring people down, and those who don't suck and don't bring people down but keep people here. If you have big tits and experience DJing in the city, even better. Love that big city titty.
What about itty bitty city titty?
Pretty shitty.
Give me one. Good reason you won't hire me.
I've given several, but let's recap. Big picture, you don't have followers, you don't have tits, and you probably don't even do mashups.
Oh.
This sets the skids off on a mashup jag.
Probably looking for a little In XS Club 7.
Talk to me when you got some Post Maloney Island.
A little Blink 182 chains.
Come back when you've got some KRS One Direction.
Maybe a little Stone Temple 21 Pilots.
21 Savage Garden.
George Michael Bolton.
Less talk, more Cat Power Stevens.
Lil Wayne Newton.
Halsey and Oates, bitch.
Cardi Beastie Boys.
Cardi B-52s.
Alice in Chain Smokers.
Fall Out Boy, George.
The Jackson 5 Seconds of Summer.
Cardi Beatles.
The skids storm off. Final scene, back at Modean's 3. The bar is empty except for the skids. Derry and Squirrely Dan are doing their usual schneef hoovering jag.
You ever hoovered schneef in a restaurant?
I've hoovered schneef at a Subway sandwiches, cutting it up with a fully stocked rewards cards.
I've hoovered schneef and gone back for a fountain pop refill.
I've hoovered schneefs off the middle buns of my Big Macs.
I've hoovered schneef off of a billfold before paying my tab.
I've hoovered schneefs off of the baby change station in a handicap stall at an Eastside Mario's and Etobicoke's.
I've hoovered gluten-free schneef.
I've hoovered ocean-wise schneef.
I've hoovered schneef at a cactus club in Saskatoon and heard a fella in the next stall say, "Get it in ya."
Fucking D-gens.
Gaylor, do lots of people hoover schneef in here?
I pour lamp oil on the tops of the toilet tanks before every shift. If anyone dumps schneef on it, it dissolves instantly.
Yeah, really?
She does.
I'm the only one who's gonna get you fucked up in here. You being the key word. Because there ain't no one else to serve. Because my customers are as loyal as Sir Bill's.
Production note, I'm pretty sure I've eaten at that Eastside Mario's in Etobicoke.
Where? There is no Eastside Mario's in Etobicoke. I was just thinking that.
Or Sherway. Isn't there one near Sherway? But that's not Etobicoke anymore, is it?
No. Well, no, I wouldn't call that Etobicoke.
Oh, okay. So maybe there isn't one. Maybe there was when Kate Trevor still worked there.
Because I got fixated in that same thought. I'm like, where the fuck is...
By the way, Matt and I work in Etobicoke. So that's so we're trying to figure out where the Eastside Mario's is. Just then, Riley and Jonesy enter the bar. Riley asks if the kitchen is still open. Katie thought for sure they'd be marching up Strrt, the new place. Riley says they were, but they looked at the menu and the sandals are $26. Gail suggests they share. Jonesy said it said no sharing on the menu. Gail called them godless motherfuckers. Next, the skids walk in. They brought Gail and her patrons the finest of worldly songsmith selections. Gail asks, what patrons? The skids look around the empty bar. They ask if they can put on some music in a chosen sequence anyway, and Gail agrees. And then finally, Bonnie walks in.
Oh, Bonnie McMurray!
What it do, Chicky Poo?
They cut me. Bit of a disaster over there, actually. They weren't prepared for the crowd.
Yeah, see, they're making fools of themselves over there, Gaylor.
So everybody's leaving?
You heard it here first.
A large crowd of people enter Modean's 3. Bonnie says she guesses she's working a triple. Music plays and Gail flashes the double victory sign and they fade to black. And that's the episode. Tanya, guess what?
I'm first.
Yeah.
I'm fucking ready.
Oh,
Bring it.
Wow, you got like notes and shit. You've been scribbling.
We razzed her enough that she's like, I better get this shit right.
Totally.
Go
Totally. Okay, the end there. Did Bonnie say that they cut her?
Yeah.
That they fired her?
Sounds like it, yeah.
No, or cut from her shift.
Or sent her home, maybe. Yeah.
Why when they said she said that they were so like they were so
I
busy.
have a theory on that, but when it gets to my turn, I will say it.
You don't want to answer me now?
Well, because I don't know for sure why, but I've got a theory why.
It's probably my theory as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's one of my questions. Thank you for answering it. Okay, moving on.
I know this isn't a Q&A.
I have a simple question, I thought, but
think of it as a monologue.
Okay. Oh man, Victor. Okay, so I found that this it was a good episode. It jumped around. There's so many lovely little tidbits here, there, and everywhere. Tidbits. That's what I said. Tidbits. So I wasn't a huge fan of the interactions between the Skids and Mia Sophia. The Skids with the music rant, they did it twice. They double dipped. They did it with when they were in the basement, and then they did it again when they were at the Breastaurant.
But they mashed it differently.
Did they? I don't feel like they did.
They used George Michael in two different mashups.
Oh dear! Like I just felt like it went there twice. I'm not huge into my music references. I love music, but yeah, I kind of could skip over that one. What really stood out to me was Riley and Jonesy. They nailed every time it panned back to them. They nailed it every single friggin' time. The food talk, loving the curry ketchup, like all the different sandwich references. They got just as excited about food as I do, so I really loved that. And then when they referenced the bathrooms and what they really like about the restaurants and the floor to ceiling doors, not having to hold the door when you pee, like that's awesome. Like that's when you know you're at a nice place,
upscale
right?
restaurant at a big
or when you don't have to use the toilet paper to like fill the hole because the door lock is now broken. It's like a peek hole instead. Those are the upscale places.
What are you talking about? What?
What are these degen places that you go to?
These are the places that you hold your tray, that you take your tray to the table. So I loved everything. Like Riley and Jonesy, loved it. Loved Dax and Ron. The thigh slapping, like holy funny.
Damn it! I had that written down too.
I think I've heard in an interview or somewhere that was he did that. It was ad-libbed. And they loved it so much they asked.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was the best part of that scene.
Add thigh.
Are you gonna get off my dick or what? Anyways, the thigh slapping, loved it. Gail with the outhouse breeze, fantastic.
Great line, yeah.
The tasting, the skit was great. It's so true. Like, I just the $26 sandwiches and no sharing is referenced on the menu. That was fantastic. What I did want to point out, though, Gail last week did the whole brunch thing. Was that last week? I feel like it was last week.
Last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Whatever. She put a restaurant out of business because she then brought the brunch.
Well, that was the cold open for this one. She put Bill's out of business because he was a breakfast place, and since she started serving lunch,
so she's just now getting her
comeuppance.
Oh, I didn't want to say it, but that
you wanted to say it though.
Isn't that kind of like that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that's all my 2 cents.
It's like Marie Fred coming back to Letterkenny to rat out on what's his name for cheating on Katie.
Yeah. Like
except it didn't actually happen. She almost got her comeuppance, but everything was
That's
fine.
right. Yeah, it's almost like maybe she planned it. Anyway, Matt, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue a topic Tin has touched on because I think it's one that needs to be addressed further, which is the first class shitters. This one touched dear to my heart. I was so there's 2 things about this. One, the ice in the urinal. I was genuinely as excited for them when they start talking, because if I walk in anywhere and there's ice in that urinal,
Where'd the ice come from?
It usually comes from the ice maker.
They come in. They throw some ice in it.
I think it's just a surplus from the ice makers too.
And I promise you, this has happened multiple times.
Oh, sure.
If there's say 3 urinals, I will look for the one with the most ice. Because I'm taking out as much of this.
And then you're playing Missile Command.
Yeah.
So it's a
absolutely.
thing.
And if you have a short pee, you're actually disappointed. You're like, fuck, I'm not done.
So I never have I ever peed at a urinal. So why is there ice?
Right.
I don't know.
As far as I can tell, it's they do it because they get excess ice from the ice makers and they just throw them in the urinals to use them to keep from
the
stinking.
smell?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Dennis, do you know?
But also, it's because, urine has a lot of salts in it, basically. So they can clog plumbing.
Oh,
so the more water that there is going through the same process, it keeps it from building up.
I knew there had to be reasons.
It saves on flushing probably too, right? Like,
is there a flush at the urinal?
Usually. Although the urinals don't flush.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we need to.
Yeah, there's a whole different urinal culture
more.
that you girls have nothing. Know nothing
so,
about.
Is there like a handle, like a button, or like is it like one of those instants?
All different ones. It's motion ones.
Is there a motion one?
There's
usually
foot
motion.
switches.
And where does the water come from? Like, is like at a water fountain, like down the back?
Yes.
Down the back of the urinal.
Yeah.
It's actually a man that comes out with a big jug.
It's true. I haven't
You
really
push a
thought
button
about
and the
this
man
one.
comes
You
out.
really wouldn't-
Or is it like
with a bucket?
Or is it like one of those rainfall shower heads at the top of it that just like trickle down?
It depends
No,
on
often when you enter the bathroom, they give you a bucket of water.
Yeah.
And then you walk over with you, and then when
I
you're
want
done,
to know:
you
is
pour-
this like a waterfall type of thing?
My favorite was the old Maple Leaf Gardens. It wasn't a urinal; it was just a trough. Because as many men that could fit side by like shoulder to shoulder can get up on it and piss into this trough that was just constantly
true story.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Is there water in the trough?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, how do you stop the little kids from playing in the water?
Well,
they had the same trough, but it was in a circle. So it was like Buffalo, whatever their stadium is called.
Oh, for the Bills, yeah.
Yeah. They had that, except it was like a circle, and so you're with like a big pole in the middle, but still guys are pointing at each other, and I'm thinking, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, it's a real thing. I guess you would never.
Never was drunk.
I was in a bathroom the other day, and there was urinals, and I'm not that tall. I think I'm 5'9" or so. And where I was standing, I realized the top of the urinal was almost in alignment with my place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if I was even 2 inches taller, I would effectively be standing above the urinal top.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone tall using this urinal, I'm like, they'd have to stand back a bit. Like there's a bit of a maneuver that would have had to happen. Yeah. They come in different shapes and sizes.
Avoid splashback. Yeah, there's all.
Well, they're usually like a little boy one, and then a
yeah. Were you at the little boy urinal?
Right?
No. They were all little boy ones in this one. It was weird. Maybe I was in school.
Were you at a daycare? What?
It's possible I was in the wrong building.
Anyway.
What? Okay, wait. While we're there, okay, so like blue pucks, I know that's a thing, right?
So instead of blue pucks, some places just use ice.
Yeah.
What's the difference between what's the blue puck?
That's a smell.
The puck is
it's just
chemical.
a smell.
Yeah.
It's not like a water thing.
No.
Gotcha.
No. And probably like to Dennis's point, maybe it reduces the amount of salt
I
or
didn't
something.
know they flushed.
Maybe it's.
I mean, it serves another purpose too, where they got it the Uranus above the turlet. It's because they give you something to aim at. It's like training a kid with
with the Cheerios.
Well, yeah, I can't see a blue puck and not aim at the blue puck. Same as the ice. You can't see the ice and not try to melt the ice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and sorry to derail us so much on this shit talk.
I'm very, very sorry.
I know, and it's fair. It's why I knew it was topical. And one final note that I wanted to touch on that particular topic, from the awesome stalls. I can tell you, where we work, we have multiple floors in a building, and where our reception is. A few years back, they did up those bathrooms to like almost like executive level kind of bathrooms. And I'm telling you, the moment they did that, and I'm like 6 floors above.
You started taking the elevator down?
Every time I had to go to the bathroom, you know where I went? Yeah.
The executives.
That bathroom. So that became my place. So anyways.
I won't lie. I was 1 floor above, and I would often come downstairs for that too.
It was so worth it. It was so worth the
Everybody's
trip.
going to the same toilet.
They were nice.
Yeah.
They were there.
Are they heated, playing music, soothing sounds, and light action?
They were just nicer. Like the other bathrooms were kind of like truck stop bathrooms, and then there's this
absolutely.
dark
And
wood
the doors were
panel. The doors were nicer. They didn't have that gap, so you didn't need to use the paper to They had the motion censored doors, so you don't have to touch anything. You just wave your hand.
They need in bathrooms. I'm inventing something right now. So they need something that like sucks the smell out. Like they need like one. No, they don't have anything like that.
Sure they do. We have one in our bathroom.
No, but for public bathrooms.
Oh, they do. Trust me.
They have bigger fans.
Yeah, there's bigger fans. Yeah,
In fancy
industrial.
bathroom. No, like I'm meaning at the stall. Like you can press the button. Like there's a number 2 coming. Press the button.
You want your own individual.
Yeah, I want it to suck out the back.
She wants a gay chicken to come in and suck the air out.
It's an invention.
What?
You wait one day in the fancy bathrooms, they're going to have them.
I'm sure some places they do, and it's just a human being who comes out and sucks this.
Just waves.
Yeah, waves a fan or something.
Gets a fan. Starts a wave.
Oh man! All right, this episode. Are you sorry? Were you done?
Oh, I only talked about shitters.
Oh, you have more than that. You have more insight.
I'll try to keep it
I
short.
don't think he even said anything
I'm
about
gonna move
the
away
episode
from
yet.
the
I have not said a single thing about the episode yet. Not a word. But I'll try to keep it short because I know Tanya wants to talk more about shitters. So the episode as a whole was okay. There was a lot going on. The wordplay to me, I agree. There was a couple loop backs. It became just went in a loop. It felt like in a lot of there's episodes where wordplays worked really well. I didn't feel it shine, but there were some good moments. The music references I liked a few because I like to try to picture a few of them. There was like a Cardi B Beatles reference there. I'm like, oh, that'd be an interesting little mashup. So like I'm visualizing these. I, Mother Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm like, can you imagine those two together? Like, so that was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed that shit. I like the theme of the episode around the small town loyalty. They always try to do that. And I get it. I mean, even living in the city, I still make an effort to avoid chains where I can. Like I have some that I will go to and probably will always go to the rest of days. But I do try to support local, try to, go to those smaller restaurants because they're also way better. If you find the right one, that's where the best stuff comes from. The chain lose all consistency. There's no creativity, there's no passion. They always talk about, but it's true. You can sense it, you can taste it. Most chains can't control that, and you lose a lot there. So that's that. The other last point I'll quickly make. Where's McMurray been? He was, unless I'm wrong, he really only made a quick appearance in the first episode, The American Buck and Doe, but we haven't seen him yet. They made a couple of references to him, but he's kind of been.
And for all we know, they might have shot some of those scenes from the first episode in the previous season. Who knows? Because that was like a continuation, right? Yeah, because he hasn't been around at all.
They're keeping the character there, but he's not. And I keep wondering to myself, like, where the hell is he? I don't know. I don't know if anyone has any theories, or maybe they
might have been unavailable to shoot, or maybe they didn't, some of the stories. I can't picture McMurray in the sleepover episode without it getting all derailed. And the kids with problems, like what would he, would he give enunciation classes to these kids? Like, I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm missing him. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, missing McMurray. I get it. Right. Cool. Let's see. What do I like about this episode? I loved Ron and Dax. I thought they were really good in this episode. Like they had some of the best back and forth dialogue and scenes, and like whip smart. Riley and Jonesy. I love those two scenes in the gym where they want to talk about how excited they are about the big city snipes. But their conversation always goes to instead Sandos and bathrooms. But they try to go back to talking about the snipes, but they're actually more excited about sandwiches and bathrooms than they are about. So I found that amusing. Squirrely Dan in the scenes at the bar with Gail, when they're especially on the jag about the word taste, he's saying stuff under his breath that's hilarious. Like if listen to it, it's really funny what he's saying. Like they hate it when they ask how does that first taste. How's the first taste or whatever? Yeah. And his breath. Well, what if it's a bad first taste? Like he's hurt that they're taking such offense to it. And there was another one or two lines where he delivers in that way, which I found really funny. And then also, I mean, Tanya pointed out, there's a bunch of throwaway lines throughout the episode where Wayne is berating Derry for what he's saying, because Derry's saying inappropriate things at the inappropriate time. Like the one time where Gail notices that her bar is empty, and she obviously knows it's because of the Breastaurant, but Derry points it out. Oh, it's because a new restaurant's open and everyone's over there, don't you know? And Wayne's like, "What are you?" They're
all totally like, "Read the room, bud."
Yeah, exactly. Read the room. So I found that amusing. Overall, it's just it's a down the middle kind of okay episode. There was nothing that I hated about this episode, but there was nothing that jumped out or made me laugh like really hard in this episode. So yeah, that's my take. Victor?
You needed to answer the question.
Right, sorry. So here's my theory, and I'm
patiently waiting.
Bonnie's a spy. She went there to sabotage the restaurant. Her and Gail had it all planned out. Because when Bonnie comes back in, she winks at and then the people start filing in. She winks at Gail, and Gail flashes the double peace sign, kind of like gang style. You didn't see it because the window went to small, but yeah, she does kind of this.
Oh.
Right at the end. So that's telling me that she and Bonnie had that all planned. So Bonnie went over there. She took the job to go over there to mess it all up. And whether she got fired or just sent home or whatever, that was the plan, because then everyone started filing into Modean's.
Gotcha.
Victor, right. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll start from that. As soon as she said I got cut, but she said that they were overloaded. That doesn't make sense.
No.
If they were overloaded, why would you get cut? They need you. Yeah. So clearly you did something, and you did something, and now everyone's coming over here. So, that was totally. I wonder if they're just gonna leave that there, or if there's gonna be some explanation or continuation, or that's just a one and done kind of thing in the next episode. We'll see. But I mean, this was a flatliner for me. Nothing. The wordplay, I feel like, first, I like the theme. I agree, Matt. I love the theme in terms of, support your locals. I live on a Danforth, and I would consider it a sin to go to any place like Tim's or McDonald's or anything like that.
What about Mr. Greek?
No, even Mr. Greek gets the boot.
Yeah,
like you have to go to the authentic little mom and pop places.
Is there even a Mr. Greek down on the?
There's a Mr. Greek and a Friendly Greek, I'm ashamed to say, but both Tanya and I have eaten at both, but only because
that's
it's open.
That's for the DJs from the upcountry.
No, I get it.
Like the locals don't eat at those places, right? That's for the tourists.
I get it. So just for the people who are not from Toronto, the Danforth is Greek town in Toronto. So it's a long stretch of road, and it's just Greek people, Greek restaurants, Greek. So my big fact, Greek wedding takes place in the Danforth, or on the Danforth in Toronto. So but Mr. Greek is a large chain of Greek restaurants. So having a Mr. Greek on the Danforth is kind of
it's almost
sacrilegious. It's
you
don't want to eat there. You want to eat at the mom pop Greek restaurant.
Yeah. So anyway, I like that. I like the theme, but really the true theme is wordplay. I feel like from the very beginning till the end, every single scene had an element of wordplay in it.
Yeah.
Which is like. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just that kind of overshadowed. It's like putting a pickle into a sandwich. You want to you don't want to over
going there again,
saturate. Anyway, like I'm just saying,
the bread gets soggy.
Too much wordplay. Like you gotta leave us hanging or wanting more kind of thing. Like put one golden wordplay into that episode and then we talk about it. It was oversaturated. There was just too much of it. So it kind of I almost to the point where like what happened and there was 2 things about sandwiches and there's 2 things about the music and it just kind of loses its flair. That's all.
I have a feeling our friend Trevor Risk had a big hand in writing some of the musical stuff anyway.
Yeah. It was clever. It was well written. It was just like you got to spread it out, like save some for another episode and stuff like that. It was just they felt like, oh no, we're running out of episodes and we've got all these mashups to do, and it doesn't really fit for purpose in the final 2 episodes or whatever, and so we got to smash it in here. So I don't know. It was all right. It was a bit of a flatliner for me, and it wasn't. There weren't too many ups. There weren't too many downs. It was just there.
Yeah. All right, Dennis.
It's funny now that he's a close personal friend of ours. I'm hyper aware of the Trevor Risk episodes. So in review, I'm like, this is a very Trevor episode with all of the the lists and mashups and this kind of stuff. And just a couple of notes. Man, Mia Sophia is just the worst. When she called Rolled queerbait, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, I love that the thing between the 2 of them though. You're meaner than I remember. Like there's a lot of great stuff between her and Rolled in that scene.
Yeah.
And it was a great observation when she called them, meth head Cards Against Humanity, because it was kind of the way that they are. But it's like when Riley and Jonesy were talking about holding the door open, I'm like, what? The places I go to look at titties don't have doors. But let's see. It's like Al, like you said, and Victor too. It's this is a very Trevor Risk episode. It's a lot of the tropes that we've grown to expect, but that's part of what this episode and the series itself kind of suffers from. Is that any long running series suffers from been there, done that. We come back for the non sequitur stories and the chirps and the wordplay and things of that nature, and then when they give it to us, it's like, okay, it's there.
I could really do without any more hoovering schneef runs.
And it's so strange. Now that we've gotten to know these characters for 9 seasons,
it's so out of character.
Dude, Squirrely Dan and Daryl seem like people that are constantly, snorting coke.
Yeah.
No.
Agreed. Was that everything?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, this episode, and just like,
sorry, I didn't want to pull a chat on you. Yeah.
I know. It's just like Breastaurants themselves. It's the promise of, the expectation is raised thinking of, oh, what's this going to be about? And then you get there and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah. It's just bar food, but dressed up with TNA.
Yeah. So 3 more things that I forgot. So one thing I've heard it now for the 3rd time. I don't like when Rosie says yawn. I find that rude.
Yes.
I don't like it.
Yes.
I don't like it.
I like it because all she's doing is telling her cousin, "What do you do? That's my man that you're all over." Yawn.
Rude.
That's
I don't like it.
No,
I don't like it.
I love it.
I don't like it.
I like it.
Yeah. No. Then you like. Then you take it. I don't want it.
I agree, Richter. It's rude.
But hold on,
I cringe a little every time.
It's only to her cousin who's hitting on her boyfriend. That's why she's doing it. Gail is hitting on Wayne, and like, Rosie's like, "Okay, move on. It's boring what you're doing." Yawn. That's why she's doing it.
The way that it comes off is, "I'm better than you."
No,
that's how it comes off.
Well, she is, but it's because she's already got Wayne. That's why she's yawning. It's like, all right, get it, like move on to something else.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't like it.
You said 3 things.
So the second thing is with the skits. We didn't really spend much time talking about the skits. So Dennis, thanks for bringing them back in. They were like kind of almost like if we're watching a series, then when we cut to them, it's like getting a little cartoon break. Before you go to commercial, you get like a little 30-second cartoon.
Yep.
That's they really played that role in this in this episode. Like, it was just comic relief. It wasn't terribly funny, but it was just goofy, right? It was because it's like, what are you doing? It was so ridiculous, over the top, and which they are anyway. But it's just funny that they were even being humored by Mia Sophia, who were cartoon characters themselves.
Yes.
And then the final thing was Hooters itself, right? To be honest, I think I was, when I was in my early 20s, I think my friends and I went to Hooters. I don't remember what the food was. You say that it's all fried food.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I know my friend worked for Hooters, where he was their photographer.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But I thought that it was they're all gone, and I was downtown a couple of weeks ago walking with a friend of mine, and I think it's on John Street. And
it's John and Richmond. But it's been there forever. It's been there for like 30 years.
I was shocked and amazed. I had no idea. I thought they were all closed down.
I remember
that patio a couple years ago.
Yeah. I've been to that place a few times.
I was going to say, who says let's go to Hooters?
Oh, I used to work right down.
Who goes to Hooters?
I used to work down.
Now. I don't mean when we're in our 20s.
Yeah.
I mean now. Like who's
No, Al does. I distinctly remember you saying you went to Hooters, and I said, "How was your breast sandwich?"
Yeah.
And you're like,
that was probably like 15 years ago too. But yeah, that one there.
The waitresses still, do they still only hire like well-endowed waitresses?
Same idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah, same idea.
I'm shocked that they haven't been canceled.
No, they're still there.
There have been plenty of lawsuits.
Yeah, there's the one there. I remember when it opened because I remember how excited everyone was. And there's one up in Barrie still that's been there forever as well, at least like 20 years. So yeah, they're still around. I mean,
but every restaurant does it.
But it's funny though, because you say that last night when I was downtown and I did drive by it, and I was surprised it was still there. But it's been there for 25, 30 years.
I had no idea it was ever there because I guess I never walked by there before. There was like the only one I remember was the Yonge and Eglinton area.
Oh, was there one there too? Yeah.
Well, there was one there for a long time, and again in our 20s. But it hasn't been there for a long time.
No, the one down in the Club District. It's perfect. Like it's exactly where it should be, near Crocodile Rock and all the other nightclubs and Moose Minuski's or whatever it's called now, if it's still there. Yeah, it's all that shit.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. Anyway, so those were the three things I wanted to kind of bring up.
Dennis, was that everything? Oh yeah, we already.
Oh, it's like I'm surrounded by those places. Like I'm from a small town in northern Michigan, and we even had one that was 25 miles away, an actual Hooters. And now, down here there's, Twisted Rooster and Tilted Kilt and Twin Peaks, and there are a lot of restaurants in this area.
Yeah, they're multiplying. Yeah.
Right.
All right. We're going to move on to ratings then. Tanya, what do you give this episode?
Oh dear.
You knew it was coming, right?
I had my RV, my VIPs, whatever they're called.
Oh, MVPs. You have that, but you don't know what your rating is.
Right. It's smack dab in the middle. Really, it is. Like there's some great parts, but not all of it was great.
So
middle.
Clearance?
Clearance.
There's a word for that.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you to say the word. Clearance. All right, Matt, what do you say?
Welcome back to episode 1.
I know, right?
I said middle. You don't know from middle.
There is no middle.
That's the point.
There's no middle on our scale.
That's
middle.
That's a song. Stuck in the Middle with You is a song.
Stuck in the middle.
Lord Tundran. So yeah, I mean, I didn't love it. It was, I think, like the way Victor put it, it fell flat. It would. There were some good ideas, some good concepts. I think what really saved it in any way was the writing. You guys have touched on it. Did it make me laugh? No. Like there were moments, of course, but overall it was a laugh. But I totally respect and appreciated the cleverness of all the writing.
Well, you were watching while you were driving, though, so I mean that's it's dangerous to laugh.
The record was not. No, but it just, I mean, it was clever stuff. I giggled and laughed a little bit, but nothing got me excited. I didn't connect very well with this one because it did feel a little all over the place, all centered around this really good theme. So I just don't think it came together. So it's
I've written down a C. So do I write Lyrins or Ompost after that C?
No, I think the writing saved it from a compost, so it's a clear, it's a low clearance,
all right,
like very low.
You know what?
But it's there.
I'm changing mine to fresh.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm looking at my notes,
You know,
and I
that's not
did.
the middle one, right?
Because Matt convinced you with his great review.
Well, Matt was going to give it a compost, and he talked himself up to a clearance, and apparently talked Tanya up to a fresh.
I had compost written on my paper already coming into the episode.
Compost. No, you know what? There were better parts than there were. The only thing that I really didn't like was the whole wordplay and the skids.
That's like,
no, it wasn't though. It wasn't like the whole taste is how's those first few bites? Like how's that tasting? Like that's fucking hilarious because that fucking happened.
Funny because it's true. Sure. Yeah.
And the whole gay and hooters and playing with the boobies and the thigh slapping.
Well, you used to work at a restaurant, right?
And
so
loved it. Like, come on, Gail and the Outhouse Breeze and the you know what? I change it to fresh. Don't fucking talk me out of it. I like fresh.
You have come a long way. I got to say, maybe we've created a monster.
It's the food talk. The Riley and Jones.
You're getting the hippo from Victor.
The food talk. The bathroom talk. The everything. You know what? I like mashups. I didn't like the whole wordplay on the mashups twice, but everything else was good. So yeah, it was only that I didn't like. So it's fresh.
I mean, I'm not going to let you guys, wait for my rating. It's a clearance. It's absolutely right down the middle clearance. There's nothing super great about it, but there's also nothing that made me hate it. It was just kind of a milquetoast Letterkenny episode. So it doesn't deserve a fresh, but it also doesn't deserve a clearance. There were some fun moments, like but a lot of the my favorite moments in here were very subtle, very understated moments, like Squirrely Dan's under the breath kind of things and Wayne's reactions to what's going on. So yeah, it's a clearance for sure. Victor?
Yeah, it's a low clearance. I even toyed with compost with this one, but you can't give it a compost because of the clever writing. It's that kind of saves it for me. But it's certainly not one of the better episodes. And give it a fresh if you want. It's a bit of an insult to the true fresh episodes.
Shots fired.
Jeez,
dude! The fact that they were pulling local and supporting local, that for itself.
I completely, again, coming from a small town, I completely know what that's like when a big.
We appreciate that
for sure.
It's just, but that wasn't the episode.
We don't normally try to talk people down from freshes on this podcast. So let's stop, Victor. Stop. Dennis, what do you give this?
It's tough because you love the show, the characters, the interaction. It's all there. This is very Letterkenny.
Yeah.
But, like anything, it's a great premise. They're a respectable effort. The writing is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's our buddy Trevor wrote the episode. But there's, like Victor said, there's a lot of, well, that's clever, but you're not really laughing. You're not slapping your knee at some of the stuff. You can recognize the effort, but it doesn't really, pay off the way you would hope. And that's what this show suffers from.
Mm-hmm.
Like Victor said, the higher highs make even the pedestrian episodes seem a little lower because you're like, oh, I was hoping for a fill-in-the-blank episode and I got something.
Yeah.
This is, I'll say, a high clearance for me.
Okay. I feel like season 9 is kind of suffering a bit from that just overall because season 9 is arguably a callback to old Letterkenny, the way it was, the way the whole season's gone, kind of these standalone episodes and even a lot of the shtick and a lot of the cold opens are kind of callbacks to older Letterkenny. But for some reason, a lot of it is I think a lot of people find it underwhelming, but I have given the last few episodes higher ratings, but in this case, it's definitely a clearance. Okay. So we'll go to top 5. Is this breaking anybody's top 5? Tanya?
No.
Matt?
Nope.
Not mine either. Victor?
Nope.
Dennis, does I know you've given us your top 5 in the past, but this...
I think, I don't know, if I'm invited, maybe I'll wait until season 10 to give my top 5 for the series.
What do you mean, if you're invited? I'm penning you in somewhere. Don't worry about that, buddy. You're coming back.
Yeah, unless you're taken hostage in one of your escapades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll be back.
And even then, we expect you to zoom in on it.
but hold on, really quick side mention on Dennis's return and bringing it interesting. I don't know if you saw any of the side banter yesterday. You are now competing with one of our listeners.
Oh, I know, right?
Sold
I heard it on Challenger's episode. You guys
so just saying, I don't know how you can compete against that. Like, that's pretty.
Oh man,
that's pretty special.
All right, kids, buckle up. I got 4 for you.
What's that? Oh no, actually, no. Matt's talking about yesterday on the DM group. There was a whole bunch of. Well, we learned a lot more about one of our newest members, Danielle, and what she did during the pandemic to make an extra salary.
Oh, with all those sex toys.
Yeah, it was amazing. Okay. It was my highlight of my whole damn day yesterday. Was this conversation?
I feel like I feel like indirectly one of
no, quite directly.
Absolutely came from you.
No. Like I'm just saying. I don't spend much time tweeting, but when I do,
it's a vagina guitar stand or something. Whatever the fuck you.
I swear to God, click on it.
Oh my God!
You'll see that it's actually a guitar stand.
It is.
And the description is for a guitar hook or whatever, but that's not what we're looking at.
No.
And I don't understand how. And the thing is, because there's no description, I have no idea what that is. What is that? What is that? What is that? Is that like for
anyone who's not in the DM group? They're not going to understand anything that's happening here. But Victor posted a picture. Was it from Amazon or something?
It's from Amazon.ca.
Victor was looking for a guitar hook for his guitar to hang on the wall, and what he posted though was a picture of I don't even know how to describe it. It's like
it's the front
lower part of a woman's body, completely naked, lips and all, and there doesn't seem to be.
It's with innards. It's with innards.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be anywhere that you would hang a guitar. So it's just bizarre. But anyway, that set off a chain of back and forth messages.
One of the best DM day groups we've had.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I try to keep up, but every time I log in,
it just retraces a synopsis of it because it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
That's my gift to the group.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Anyway, let's see. We've done top 5 MVPs. Are you ready, Tanya?
I am ready.
Oh.
Are we recapping anymore? No, probably not. Stop you. So I just want to say, this is my first time here. I wish that Glenn was at Modean's. That's just what I wanted to throw in there. Because like the only person that I really feel like you were saying the McMurrays, not so much with this one, but I really feel that Glenn would have been an asset, especially with all the talk about the breasts and stuff like that. I feel like he really would have played that up.
Oh, he'd have nothing to do with breasts.
But would he have?
I don't know.
Maybe he would have went on the side of Dax
he
and
would
Ron.
talk about the breast behind their back.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyways, hands down, Riley and Jones. They freaking. They stole my heart on this one. Love them. Every time they pan back to them again, love them.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm with you. Riley and Jonesy, those boys. There's, again, with all the wordplay and stuff going on, their banter is just so tight.
I do like how they brought themselves to climax over Sandos.
Honestly, I wish I was friends with them. They just seem, they may be like dummies, but my God, those two are just so in sync, and it's masterful.
Okay, well, I mean, So I give an honorable mention to Squirrely Dan. I really thought that the stuff he was saying at the bar was really funny. Just not enough of it. And you guys say how, like, especially you, Matt, you say how Riley and Jonesy are so in sync. I found Ron and Dax even more so in this episode. I thought the stuff they were doing back and forth was even funnier and more, I don't know, snappier than Riley and Jonesy. So I'm actually giving it to Ron and Dax. Victor?
Oh, my MVP is Gail's MVP, and that's Bonnie McMurray because she saved the day.
That's right. That makes sense. And Dennis.
This episode was very much an ensemble piece. There were a lot of group scenes. Everybody's pulling their weight evenly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a toss-up.
That's fair.
Each kind of group got its own spotlight too, so it's tough to call one out. But I'll say Dax and Ron.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Split.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Let's see here. What's next? See the future. Anything for the future there from those who don't know it yet? Tanya, what do you want to see?
How many more episodes do we have?
Actually, next week is the season finale. The season 9 finale.
It?
Yeah.
That's it, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, and then 10 starts up at Christmas, so we're not too far away.
So what are we going to see that last one? I don't know.
That's it. What would you like to see is what I'm asking.
Wow.
It's not a good night.
No.
I don't know.
You don't care? All right.
Yeah, no, I don't see the future on this one.
No. Matt, what about you? You see anything?
Yeah, I don't have a clue. The only thing, knowing that we've seen the trailer for season 10, I'm wondering, or what I'd like to see is a quick shout out to either Anik or Mary Fred, even if it's just a glimpse. So you kind of, they're staying. So when they're I don't know if that's a shock to everyone that they're back,
right?
In season 10, or if this is, you get sort of a glimpse here, like a little trailer.
Okay.
Tanis, we haven't seen her.
Oh yes,
I want to see her. McMurray's, Glenn, always Glenn. Oh, the Dicks. We see the Dicks.
That's in season 10, but 10. For the finale. Okay. All right. So you want more Tanis?
Usually
more
they bring them all together on the last one, right?
Well, the Dicks, they usually only come in for an episode and then they're done. Yeah, they do this.
And then they slip out.
And then they slip out, exactly. They run off because fucking they run. Victor, what about you? What do you want to see?
Well, what I want to see is more Glenn and McMurray, but what I think we might get is a glimpse of Shorzy, because everyone forgot about Shorzy.
Right.
He's going to get his own show, so you got to bring him back from the dead somehow.
So, but remember, this season 9, was written and shot pre-pandemic and before we knew there was going to be a Shorzy spinoff.
I know, but there wasn't a Shorzy in a single episode this season.
And there's no hockey team, so where would Shorzy come in?
Yeah.
Well, that would be, you have to use your imagination.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right. Great. Let's move on to, I have no listener comments. So actually this one here, we're
wait a second. Do we want to hear if Dennis has a...
Well, Dennis and I know the future, so...
Oh, I see. I didn't know that Dennis knew the future. I just knew that you knew the future.
Yeah, well, I think Dennis knows. Maybe I'm assuming, but yeah, you know.
You said it as if you actually believe he knows the future.
I'm pretty sure he knows the future.
It's like anything. I want to see the whole band. We haven't. Coach was in one episode in season 8.
That's right. Yeah,
it was good to see.
But what an episode! Wow, we learned so much about him and Barb. And
the bar scene, that was it.
Poor Barb. Maybe we'll find out how.
Oh, 2 episodes then. No, because he was at the bar.
Yeah,
was that season 9?
That was the same episode. That's when he was talking about Barb.
Yeah, but then we're talking about the beer league. The beer league, when he's talking about Barb and how they go to the whatever
this year
to the mountains, and she'd have to wash herself off and
we
stuff.
We saw him quickly.
That was just one episode this season. Yeah.
That was Mitzvah. Okay. Yeah, that was
Mitzvah.
Yeah, Mitzvah. Yeah.
All right. Just no news really about Letterkenny, but news for me next week. I've just booked my appearance on Demon Does, so I'm going to be getting that treatment next
nice.
Tuesday.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. So, but I know that he doesn't release it right away, so we're recording next Tuesday, so I'm not sure when it'll be coming out. So I'm looking forward to that. If you haven't heard Matt's appearance on Demon Does, it's actually quite good.
What's the name of the episode, Matt?
I think it's just my name.
Really?
Does the 6? They're all. Someone's name does the 6 questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you haven't heard it, it's really good. And Matt, you rep the produce stand well, so we appreciate that. And then we learn more about you. So that's why it's an interesting premise for a podcast, and he does a good job of it. But yeah, other than that, do I have any other news? I can't. Ooh, there is one bit of news. I won't divulge it just yet, but we will have a Letterkenny cast/crew member on the produce stand next week. And
Nice.
stay tuned for news on that one, because that's exciting. I'll let you all know probably by Monday who and when he or she will be on. And that's it. Or it. We're having the goldfish is coming on. Anyway, final comments for this episode. Tanya. Oh, jeez.
I'm the fish.
She's doing her fish.
Always a pleasure. Dennis, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Christmas schedule and taking a break from your Funko Pops. Always a pleasure to hear that beautiful voice of yours. Oh my gosh. We got to record that stuff.
We are. Thanks for coming out there.
Tanya, you and Dennis should have like a voice,
I know, right? Between the two of them, they could make $1 million doing phone sex line.
She did a very good live read. I was impressed.
See?
Oh,
we'll have to record you to do that.
Okay. Sounds like fun. Always a pleasure. Thanks for the laughs. I need it. I so need it, especially now. And thank you, everyone.
All right. Matt.
Yeah, as always, Dennis, love having you here, buddy. It's so much fun. Glad you could make it. So next week is going to be fun. It sounds like I can't wait till those details get released. Also, I mean, I'm still working on the details, but I think next weekend I'll be joining the Greendale Human Podcasters.
Wow, we're just
our boy Jack over there.
Don't worry, Victor and Tanya. You guys will all be asked to be on as well. If you want.
So I'm going to be joining them down under for an episode.
Not necessarily on Greendale, but I know Damon wants to do each one of us. So.
Okay.
Damon wants to do us?
Yeah. Well, it is called Damon Does, so yeah.
It's the sloppy seconds.
Oh, dear. Listen,
he's gentle, don't
I've
worry.
been still listening to that other podcast, and it's raunchy all in my head.
Yeah.
It's raunchy.
My dad wrote a porno. If you haven't watched or listened to it yet, you're missing out. You are missing out.
Oh, my God. It's so
gold,
Kelsey.
Jerry, gold.
It's gold.
Oh, my God.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. Great week. I can't wait to see what. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Next week sounds like it's going to be a busy one. So we will have our regular episode next Thursday with our buddy Stephen Walker, and like I said, Friday we're going to have a Letterkenny guest, and I'm on Damon Does, and Squirrely Matt's on Greendale Human Podcasters. Just
Victor, do you want to do something and we'll record it?
You guys feel left out?
They're just going to call each other.
Victor and Tanya are going to do a podcast on I don't know. Well, what do you guys on hippos and goldfish?
I'll talk dirty to hippos.
Hippo simulator.
Yeah.
On trains.
But thank you, Dennis. It's always fun to have you on. Do you want to show off any of the Funkos you're working on right now? You have
I would, but because of this time of the year, the second I finish them, they're in the mail.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So how many have you done like in the last week, let's say?
17? Somewhere in there. I mean, I have just been cranking them out.
You did the Annie's boobs one, right?
Yep.
Amazing. How did you do the monkey?
Frankenstein parts and bits and pieces in a box full of parts that I've got, and then tried to nail the likeness and the scale.
That looked great. Yeah. But what did you start with? Did they have like a monkey figurine, or did you?
Yeah, there are monkey figures. Anyway. I started with a base, and then it was just chopping off this part and adding something there and recolor the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah. And when I say Annie's boobs, it's the name of a character from Community.
Cappuccino.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I was gonna say, huh?
Oh,
Is
well-
this like restaurant kind of boobs?
Yeah, well, remember on Community, you're watching it now.
I'm
Annie's
watching-
boobs is the pet monkey that they have.
That's the name of the monkey?
Well, yeah, Troy called it
Troy
Annie's.
named it that.
Yeah, Troy named it Annie's boobs.
I don't remember that part. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's amazing, fun to have you on. We will definitely have you on for season 10. So don't worry about that.
I want to play his game. I want to play his game.
Yeah, you need to come up with four
I know
more.
we're running long, but all right. Here's 4.
Oh, okay.
Which of these 4 things have I not done?
Okay.
Number 1, Olympic gold medalist.
Fuck off.
2, print model. And I know what I look like, so I won't take offense if you guess that one. Sergeant at arms for the Latin Counts Street Gang.
Okay, that's way too specific.
And Boy Scouts of America Eagle Scout.
Okay, Tanya, which one do you think?
Eagle Scout, definitely you did it. The modeling thing, I bet you did that too. Now I'm down to the last 2. What were the other 2? The first one and the second. What was it?
The sergeant at arms at what?
The Latin Counts Street Gang.
Okay.
Latin Council Street Gang, or what was the first one again?
Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, Olympic gold medalist.
I'm gonna go with the street gang.
Is something he didn't do. Okay.
You didn't do.
Matt?
You were not an Eagle Scout.
Okay. I'm going to say, okay. I mean, I feel like we'd know if you were an Olympic medalist, but you've also got this whole other past with jiu-jitsu. The model thing, that sergeant of arms thing, that's way too specific. So I feel like the obvious one is the Boy Scout or Eagle Scout or whatever. So I'm going to say you weren't that. Victor?
I'm going to say Olympic gold medalist because unless you're talking about chocolate gold medals, I'm not. That one's not making sense to me. So
No, I know.
That's the one I'm going with.
But I understand that I don't follow jiu-jitsu too closely, so I'm wondering if maybe. So anyway, Dennis.
That's part of the game. I am an Olympic gold medalist, and I will admit it's kind of cheating because in the Amateur Athletic Union, it's known as the Junior Olympics.
You cheated. But okay, all right, okay, whatever.
The under 18 martial arts division, I've competed in several tournaments and won gold medal.
There you go. Okay,
Love it.
Yeah, that's sneaky, but okay, go for it.
Print model. I actually have been a print model on different occasions. As a martial artist, again, there's a guy named Steve at Downriver Photography. They use me as his model. So when there are banners at the front of a martial arts tournament or things of that nature, you'll see, life-size printouts of me, mugging it up for the camera.
Tell me you have some of those in your storage room.
I've been haranguing him for years that if he ever stops using them, that they're remanded into my custody. But
yeah, absolutely,
he still uses them.
Oh,
and it's funny. Like his Christmas card is me and one of my Mason, and he whites out my beard so I look like Santa Claus, and he made Mason look like an elf, and stuff like this because we used to do photo shoots. Let's see where else. Sergeant at arms for the Latin Count Street Gang. I actually was.
Yeah, that's way too specific.
I wasn't beat into the gang and stuff like this, but my brother was a high ranking member, and I was affiliated with.
So describe the define gang though. This is like an actual street gang. Like these guys, like they're thugs.
Yes, I'm a little reticent about mentioning some of this.
Right. Okay. Never mind that.
Organization, but there was a time when I was a sergeant at arms for the Latin Counts.
Interesting. So you weren't a Boy Scout.
So technically, actually, I was a Eagle Scout.
Oh.
I went through all of the requirements. I achieved the rank. And I found out as an adult when one of my martial arts students, we were having a conversation about the Eagle Scouts because he was looking for his rank. In the organization, you seek out somebody that's already achieved it to get some ideas, on some of the things that you can do. And I looked into the background of my rank, and I found out from my mom, I'm like, I wanted my troop number, things of that nature, and see if she had any documentation. And she goes, "Oh no, that was all a lie." And I'm like, "What?" It turns out that one of the youth pastors for my grandfather's church was our scout leader. he had no affiliation with the Boy Scouts of America. He was having us go through the motions of achieving all of these ranks and badges, and and I don't know how he pulled it off, but
it was all fake.
According to so I went through every step of the process. I thought I was an Eagle Scout for years of my life, and my mom goes, "Oh no, your grandpa actually grabbed him by the collar and threatened his life, and he left town."
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's anyway. I shouldn't expect any less from you, Dennis. That's amazing.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, Dennis. Seriously, you need to reach out to somebody that can do like your life story, because I would read it hands down.
Yeah.
And be the first to buy that book.
Crazy. And don't worry about the street gang. I'm sure they don't listen to podcasts. All right. We are going to play, or I'm going to play us off here with a song from this episode. It's the last song from the episode. It's called It Dance by Michael Aristotle.
You know, you didn't really give me my turn to say goodbye, but that's
I didn't? Did I skip you? Oh, dude, sorry. I'm sorry, Victor.
But that's okay. I was just gonna, give props to Dennis and thank him for what he does. And now, we got a little bit more. We unpeeled another layer or two there. So, and I was gonna give you props, but I'm not sure that I should.
I'm sorry. That was my bad. I was so excited about Dennis. I was like, I want to play Dennis's game.
Yeah.
That was my derailed most of this episode.
I'm off. Yeah.
All right, good. I'm going to blame it on my wife as well.
So I was gonna call out that I did watch that video, that production that you did for your work, and what a great job you did with it.
Thank you very much.
I was impressed, and I was proud, and I was you're becoming the face of your company, which is quite interesting.
Poor decision on my company's part.
yeah. I don't know. It's a slippery slope there.
Yes.
But no, you did a good job, and I don't know if you're the one that actually did the production of it.
No, I did not. So that's the thing. I was only the talent in this one. Imagine that. Wow. I was only the talent.
Because I was going to give props on the production as well.
No, that was the rest of the. That was the actual the pros who did that. Right. So they made me look good. But thanks, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to play us off here with the song that ended this episode. It's called It Dance by Michael Aristotle. Let's spool this sucker up here. And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we will be joined by Stephen Walker of the Guys Review Podcast for season finale of season 9, NDN NRG. So guess who might be on that episode? Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now, you can use the promo code ProduceStand for 10% off any purchase from their site. Tannis will be on the episode. Tannis. It's NDN Energy. Anyway, if you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes or become a patron. There is a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at ProduceStandPod. Stop it. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to dance to some mashups at a Breastaurant. On behalf of Dennis, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.
It dance and it dance and don't stop. It dance and it dance.